to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
All right. Yeah, we're excited for this. I'm a little like jumpy because we haven't had guests on in a while. But we're going to have fun. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Gonna roll with it, you know?
Damn right. This is overdue, people. We got another crossover for you. I want to welcome two people that we had been excited for ever since the start of this year. Welcome Jordan and Taylor, two girls, one Stanley Cup. How we doing?
Hello. Girls? Nice to see you. That was like my Texas like tip in the hat.
Yeah.
Love it. First of all, hilarious name.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was by accident.
Yeah,
really?
It was originally so we had like a whole list of things. I think we had like Zamboni, jabronis, like we were coming up with so many different names. And so that we even like posted polls and stuff on Twitter. And ultimately it came down to two girls, one puck. Well, Taylor could not stop saying two girls, one cup. Like she could not stop saying that. So she was like, one day, I remember we were just like pulling up to my apartment to go to record, and she was like, what if we just added the word Stanley in front of cup because I can't stop saying it? And I was like, two girls, one Stanley Cup. Okay, perfect. We're rolling with it. That's it. And here we are.
And I mean, it's fitting because, like, obviously your team only has the one right now.
Okay, so there's been some debates on that. So everyone's like, okay, well, if we win another Stanley Cup, you've got to rename it. And I'm like, well, technically, there's like, no matter how many times a team wins, there's still only one Stanley Cup. Like, cannot be duplicated, cannot be copied. One Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I like
that logic. I agree.
So you should see the people cringe when we tell them what our name is because it gives everyone flashbacks.
They like cringe and then they laugh at the same time. It's kind of weird. It's an emotional roller coaster.
Oh no!
I liked it. The first time I heard it, I just laughed. There was no cringe.
You were like, "That was perfect."
We appreciate it.
Of course.
And I mean, ours, like, obviously, it's just stupid. It's just our names and the team that we cover. Like, the alliteration's fun, but like,
it is. But in terms of how the operations work, it is absolutely criminal that my name comes first. Just objective.
Yeah, technically, alphabetical order, Jake should come first and then Jay's.
Well, also because he does 95% of the work. I'm the guy who shows up at every podcast like, oh shit, what are we talking about?
I know, I have to text this guy like all the time. I've got to make like an outline and be like, here's what we're doing.
Taylor and I sit down and we do that together. I mean, we'll sit down, like she'll have topics that she wants to talk about, and then I'll have topics. So we try to like brainstorm, especially if we can come up with like a fun little segment or a bit. Then, you know, it takes a little bit longer. And then, of course, if anybody from Twitter has any like comments, questions, concerns, whatever you might have for the week, then we add those in as well. But yeah, we both sit down and delegate like what we're going to talk about. All the chaos in between, that is like totally free ball. It's just not choreographed at all.
Jordan does all the technological stuff because I'm a boomer at heart. So
I wish this guy was good enough for that, but he is the worst texter on the planet.
I am awful. I am
so
like, we'll try to plan something, and I'll be like, so are we recording Saturday? I'll text that like on Tuesday. And then it'll be like Friday night, and I'll be like, "So, are we doing this?"
And it's incredible because I'm like, you're one of the people that I actually like text a decent amount. Like, there are so many people I have not responded to from like 2, 3. I should really respond to these people.
Yeah,
we have a lot in common.
It takes this guy forever. Like,
I've got like 72 unread messages, so text messages.
That gives me anxiety. That gives me anxiety.
You get to a point where the number gets to a spot where you're just like, oh, I'm not reading any of these.
Yeah, no. And if you respond to someone 9 days later, they don't text back, if you were wondering.
Oh, it's great because then you're just like,
so much in common.
Conversation's over.
This is gonna be perfect. This is gonna be such a good show.
It is because we already have like the duos lined up of who
We have like a little
Wow.
camaraderie, like.
If only Taylor had a J name. Man.
Oh, I'm really fucking this up.
Oh, right.
Wait, no. She's not being honest. Her real name is Tyler. So
My real
we
name is Tyler.
we've got our own thing going.
Okay,
Yeah.
some 2010 draft going on over here. Like,
Yes, that's my government name. I wish she would quit telling people that.
well, we're gonna have a really fun show because we wanted originally to have you on last week when you whooped our asses.
Saying it lightly.
Sorry, not sorry.
You gotta be used to it now, though,
We're not
right?
asking you to apologize. We're just asking you to kindly not do it again.
No.
Especially because
next
we
time
got one
they'll
coming
use-
up in a couple of days, right?
How about next time they use loop? There you go.
Just the pity point would be funny.
Take
You
you out
don't
to
lose
dinner first.
anything in a pity point situation.
Mhm.
I wonder
Yeah, no,
how
we're pretty
Dutchy's
excited.
doing. Wonder how Dutchy's doing. I miss that guy. Anyway.
You can't have him.
Yeah, I think as far as playing wise, we shall see. Radek Foxa was on the ice for the pregame warmups. I think Matt Duchene should be expected for next game, based off of the recent reports that I have heard. Post game for the Dallas Stars last night, they are expecting Matt Duchene to not be out for a long period of time, and of course, it's going to be day to day. We won't know until probably the day of, but yeah, he should be skating soon.
Can't wait for him to drop 3 points on us and one of those goals to be 30 feet offside. So
I'm so tired of offsides.
what we're gonna do, because we got to get our ad read in, we're gonna do like we do a player of the game kind of thing, and just like shout out like who we thought from our last performance. Both of us coming off losses, one of them an extra point. Thank you, Florida. We'll still give kudos to who we thought looked good. We like to call it Kepi Keeper because Blue Jackets, Kepis, fun things like that. But we're gonna do a special one and call it Cowboy Keeper with
There you go.
your Dallas
Ooh.
tie-in.
Yikes for me.
And like everything that we do with the Kepi Keeper and all this stuff, it's from our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook, right?
Yeah.
Love DraftKings.
Love them.
We've got ourselves a Bengals fan, we've got a Bears fan, oof, and a couple of Boys fans here today.
Oh, time out. Time. Absolutely
Way to
not.
make
I
assumptions.
am a Giants fan, New York Giants fan. I
Oh,
might be from
that's
Texas,
oh
but
no.
I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Oh,
My boyfriend's
no.
also a Bengals
Same
fan,
boat.
so
Wait for me to assume, and I thought I was actually giving you credit for cheering for a good
How
team.
Okay, now
dare
here's a
no.
question then. Are you Texas Rangers fans?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your
How
World
about
Series
that?
then.
Thank you.
Oh man, we've got another week of football. They're coming on strong. We're coming on stronger with DraftKings. And all you got to do, excuse me, I'm very rusty when it comes to ad reads and stuff like this. We're hooking up new customers with betting $5 on any game this week to score $200 in bonus bets. And all customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this year. So let's see. I actually should do this all the time and just pull this up before I even start this.
Are we doing NFL
You're
or
sounding like me so hard. I bet I could read it off the top of my head, eyes closed. All customers bet $5 and earn $200 in instant bets. I read it so much.
Oh my gosh, Jay, your team could actually win this week. They're playing the Panthers.
let's do it. Let's do the total sickos game. For some reason, this is Thursday night football. I don't even want to watch this. Bears 2-7, Panthers 1-7. Either way, I'm slightly winning because one of these teams is going to lose, and we have both these draft picks. But because it's the Bears and they suck at everything they do, this feels exactly like the kind of game that they will lose. So I am going to bet on the Panthers to win this game. The over-under's at 39 points. Good Lord, that is awful for an NFL game. These two teams are bad. So I am going to take the under in that one.
As Taylor would call it, it's a mid-off.
It is very much a mid-off. Bengals are playing.
Fine.
Bengals are playing CJ and the Texans. That's going to be a fun one. I'm just scrolling. I don't know. I'm trying to have a little bit of
It
fun.
doesn't matter who the Giants play because they're gonna lose.
Oh,
That team
it's a
is falling
clash.
apart.
Giants boys. Here we go.
That team, listen, they got their booty cheeks clapped last time, 40-0. It's gonna happen again, probably like 60-3, because the Giants are only ever good at kicking field goals. So if I were going to bet on this game, I would not be betting on the Giants because that team is falling apart. I've joked around about this before. Self-harm comes in many ways, and I guess if you're rooting for the Giants, you are a fan of self-harm. So, gosh dang it.
Ooh, that's a. I mean, if you want self-harm, you're gonna love these money lines.
It's just not a cry for help. I just like making jokes, okay?
Oh my lord.
Be so clear.
Jordan, the Giants are a plus 700.
Okay.
And the boys for Taylor are a minus 1100.
In the bag already.
The spectrum on that is so wide.
Just
Trailer
drop
Park.
your whole bank account on that and just like.
Nah, I'm a terrible gambler. I'll bet on the Giants.
Get in on the game day greatness yourself. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code THPN. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Licensing partner, Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, and Louisiana. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See Sportsbook, DraftKings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. I am so sorry. I should have this memorized by now because we've been doing the same ad for like a month.
Well, sometimes I will kill it with the DraftKings ad, and other times I'm like hibbity bibbity. Like I cannot talk to save my life. It's awful. So instead of doing it like in the middle of our podcast, I just do it afterwards. That way I can listen. If I mess up, I can just stop recording and redo it, and then I just snip it in.
Because like we do it live because we do a segment like
yeah
for it, right? So
right. Maybe eventually we'll do that one day once we finally get on board with the rest of the THPN podcast and start doing like live YouTube videos and stuff like that so people can see our shenanigans. But until then, it's just my sultry voice messing up all the words.
And this is why we still pre-record ours, but at the same time, like. So yeah, Kepi's and Cowboys. Let's go.
So how are we doing this? Are we doing this off the last Blue Jackets game?
We're doing it off of the Panthers game and off of the Stars Bruins game.
Fucking hell! Like, who wants to go first? I'm sure the Stars Bruins.
Ladies first. Let's go. Fight amongst yourselves.
And we're talking about
team...
who's the most like standout player.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like Wyatt Johnston or Jake. Like Wyatt was probably the only one where he needed to be hustling, even though that line has been invisible. I feel like Jamie's only visible in power play, and then Dodonov's trying his best, but our lines are so out of sync. Like since the beginning of this season, they just have not clicked. Even in games we're winning, we shouldn't win. We don't look good. But yeah, and Jake kept us in as much as he could. They should have scored a lot more goals. So gotta love Jake.
Otter. I do love me some Otter.
Yeah, gotta love him.
Yeah.
Other than that, like our top line didn't play well. Miro had a really bad game, which is unusual for him. So
I'm sure that hurt you to say that because that was gonna be a hot take. I wanted to tweet it, but I was like,
no, he had a bad game, but he's so good it just hurts more every time he makes a mistake. Yeah. It's so painful.
So who are you going with, Tay?
I pick Wyatt. I think Wyatt was the best.
Wyatt Johnston? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
for sure.
Yeah. I would say that. I was gonna say Joe Pavelski, but even Joe Pavelski was doing things that were not Joe Pavelski like. So that
Yeah.
was a little annoying. It's really hard to pick because other than Wyatt and Jake, everyone was sloppy. I mean, of course, it also didn't help that during the Stars game, I don't know if they showed it on the broadcast, but the Stars showed Swayman like falling behind the net.
Oh no, poor Sway.
So like I can't think of the song that it plays or like the soundtrack. I know the show, like I can see it in my head, but anyway, it was embarrassing. And so they replayed it multiple times, and it was after that he was like, guess what? You're never gonna catch me getting embarrassed on this ice again.
Are you
Yeah.
thinking like
Still
Curb
on
Your
his head for the
Enthusiasm?
rest of the game. Yes, thank you. Yes, yes. That's exactly what it was. And they replayed it multiple times. It was hilarious, but after that, he was looking for
I
revenge.
mean, they've been on fire, so they were never gonna. He wasn't gonna let anything in. But
yeah, they were.
then we
They were
scored that goal
definitely
with
coming
27
out.
seconds left. But
Fun fact for those of you that don't know, ice is slick, ice is slippery, so that happens.
and there was no one around him. Like he just fell. He had to. His
Out of nowhere.
skate must have caught the net or something. But yeah, there was no one around him,
Poor
Mhm.
guy.
and we still couldn't score.
Oh. So Jordan, where are you going?
I'm gonna have to go with Wyatt as well, just because it's really hard to pick from. It's either Wyatt or Jake at the end of it. There's no one else to really pick from because they were all atrocious. They were all maddening, sloppy all around. Can I also pick Nate Lowe? Nate Lowe was there in the crowd, so that hyped everybody up for a good hot minute, and then we embarrassed him, so it's fine.
That's World Series champion Nate Lowe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gold Glove winner Nate Lowe. Thank you.
Jay, do you want to go?
Oh God, sure. I guess. I've been looking for like the last like couple of minutes to try even pick out a player that stood out to me.
No, I feel it.
In a noteworthy, positive manner. I hated the game they played yesterday.
It was
it
on
sucked.
my birthday. You're gonna do that?
Yeah.
Like, thanks, guys.
It's disrespectful in every sense.
So disrespectful.
Like, I have two names in mind, and they're both the most depressing fucking answers I think I could ever come up with. So I'm gonna give it to.
He can't even.
You can't get it out. Oh no, again?
Fucking Erica Branson was the best defenseman
That's
we
awesome.
had yesterday.
Wow.
That's actually very fun. I love that because this guy actively tries. He tries to never see Eric Goodbranson having a good game.
Because he's bad.
I mean,
we've got one of those.
His contract is bad.
I mean, good Lord. I mean, the other name I could think of was Spencer Martin, the guy who came in relief. I mean, it's just I know they got a pity point out of it, point that they absolutely in no way, shape, or form deserved. They got outshot 7-22.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh,
and of course,
God.
Carter Verhaeghe is a friggin' Jackets killer at this point. So,
but you gotta love him. He's so good.
Yeah,
I do love me some Carter Verhaeghe, but not in
He's
that
on
context.
my hockey. He's on my fantasy team, so
We'll talk about your fantasy team in a minute. There, Ms. First overall.
yeah.
I love.
Eric Branson is my incredibly depressing pick.
God, that's really funny. I love when this guy picks Eric because he tries so hard to never pick a guy like Eric. So that it's so out of character for him.
He makes it pretty easy for me not to pick him most nights.
So what I'm hearing is you have like a Ryan Suter on your team.
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely.
Ryan Suter makes a little bit less than him, so trade.
Well,
and
I guess that makes it easier.
Ryan Suter actually does productive things. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Frenchman. I'm gonna go with Tex.
Yeah, he did score.
Alex Texier finally getting the monkey off his back and getting his first of the year.
And it was a very, very funny goal. It really was.
Break it down. I did not see it.
It was a 2-on-1. He tried to pass it to the slot, and it went off of the defender's skate, and by Bobrovsky, and it hit the post, and then he just tapped it.
Wow.
Nice.
It's just
So
like right there, and he's just
he
like,
really he did nothing, and he scored.
Hey, a goal's a goal, you know?
Yeah,
Goal's a
ugly
goal.
goal's a goal.
Yeah.
goal's a goal, and it's great to see that from Tex. It's about time because he's had plenty of his looks. And it's like, take him as you can get him. He finally got rewarded, and it's good to see the old French poke back.
Yeah.
Taylor knows I just wanted to say something inappropriate. Just
Yeah.
Go off, girls. Like, we don't care. We swear, like, we're sailors
We
on this
do not
show.
have girls
well,
on this
I was
podcast.
gonna say we love a good poking. So
And we can actually
Can't trust
say that's what she said. Because
yeah, you can't trust us. It's too easy, you know.
Yeah.
and that's our Cowboy Keeper. Sorry, DraftKings, we're trying.
DraftKings knows. They know I ruin it every time.
Wow. We got a rematch on our hands, ladies.
You do?
Ew.
7-3-1 and 4-5-3. So I can only imagine how this is gonna go.
With the stars, you actually never know.
I mean,
One
Yeah,
of my
like
one of my sayings is the stars are either gonna Dallas Stars or they're gonna Dallas Stars. If you know, you know. It's kind of like bless your heart. It's got two different meanings. So it's either like bless your heart, or it's like bless your heart.
bless
you know?
your heart. Oh.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've definitely been there on both ends of the bless your heart argument.
So what are you expecting to happen?
I'm expecting Nelly to black out the game so I can't watch it.
Exactly. Thanks, Bally.
I have to get my daily shot in at Bally.
Oh,
Don't we all? They've been horrible the past couple weeks.
Yeah,
oh my god! And that apology. Can we talk about the apology, Jay, that they put out this friggin' statement?
You're right, Ed.
I can't even remember any of the actual verbiage of it because it was just such a you know what it was? It was very much a Gary Bettman style,
Yikes.
like written apology. It was that bad.
I just hope it was like the South Park BP oil spill. Just we're sorry.
Man.
I think they did say something about like we want
It
to
was like,
try.
we're so sorry for our fans. We promise to try better in the future. Just say you're bankrupt and that you have no money to fix the issues and you also don't care. Just say it.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like, okay, you're gonna say you're gonna try to be better, then where is the resource to do that? Where is the actual like doing it?
Exactly.
And can we also just mention that is also part and parcel of the NHL and their whole idea of, well, we want fans to be around, then maybe show it on TV. Maybe don't black things out for local people.
Yeah. Well, they'll show it. They'll just only show it on one day or a couple of days of the year or the week, where all the teams play all at once.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or Frozen Frenzy. Yeah.
We're going to talk about Saturday in a minute because I'm still really pissed about how Saturday went down in fantasy.
All right. 6, 8.
Not the fantasy.
10 games today. And how many do we have tomorrow? 3.
Probably 2.
You're close.
3.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we have 11 on Thursday.
And then 4 on Friday is my guess.
It makes no sense.
6.
Oh, that's disappointing.
12 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday. So it's like, here's a bunch, here's not as much, here's everybody, here's nobody, here's like, what are we doing here? How?
Well, and the thing I don't understand about Saturdays, at least for the beginning half of the season, like you're competing with college football, and college football is going to dominate mostly at least in the United States. Of course, I can't account for the rest of the world, but especially in the United States, if that's where you're really trying to push the market, you're having all these games on a Saturday when, again, everyone is going to be focused on college football right now.
Especially in
least the
Texas
biggest
and
majority
Ohio.
of
Like
people
think
are
about
gonna be focused on that.
the states that our shows are from and the teams that we represent,
Mhm.
and how
Yeah.
much college football just explodes everybody's brains during this time of
Yeah.
year over anything else.
I mean, I get that, but you're also competing with like the NFL on Sundays and Mondays, and so at some point
And
you just have to play the game, and whoever wants to watch is going to watch. Like at this point, we all have the ability to watch like multiple games at a time. Like
Mhm.
the NHL just needs to like market for their fans, and whatever. But I've been at games and watched other games on my phone, or I've like had 2 TVs or whatever. Like people can do it now, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. The hockey's never going to be priority, so over football.
Yeah.
Well, the
unfortunately.
problem is they just don't even try to compete with marketing or anything.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I get that they understand that, like, at the very least, football is something they can't compete with. So, okay, don't try. But at least kind of try if you want to grow your game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good old Gary Bettman.
Oh,
His
Gary.
marketing idea.
Oh, Gary.
Oh, Gary.
We don't have to do it. Gary. You just fucking know it's just Gary.
It's just
a little
Gary. I know I'm going to very much expect, at the very least, a Dutchy revenge tour if he plays.
That's what I would have done through DraftKings. When the Predators would play us, would just be either Johansson or Dutchy getting at least a point against us. And I actually believe I won a couple of bets off of that. That's my favorite thing to do. My favorite pastime is betting former Blue Jackets scoring against the Blue Jackets. And more often than not, that's actually what's keeping me afloat.
That's actually, that's what actually wins him money for once.
If you're looking for another bet, the Dallas Stars like to give up people's first NHL goals. So we gave 2 Bruins their first NHL goals.
Oh, that's right.
That this season. Yeah.
What is that, like
that's like 4 or 5. That's like 4 or 5 this season. Someone, I think it was Sean Shapiro, tweeted that we've only given up like 13 since 2017. Yeah. So, but it feels like a lot more than that. But this year it's been like 4 or 5 already.
I heard Vorey's was actually kind of nice.
It was.
Yeah.
It was sick. But Jake got screened. So.
Yeah.
That was
you
nice.
can't stop what you can't see, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
But I don't know, because it's still so early in the season. Like, I get we're about an 8th through, sure. 8th, 10th, whatever you want to call this weird number again. Because, like, some people have played 10, some teams have played 11, some have played, like, 13.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Still early season, and we're not really matching up with numbers of games.
Well, and it's weird for Stars fans because we're used to the Stars playing like every other night or multiple back-to-backs. Like, so for them to have they had like a 5-day period off or 4 or 5-day period, and then and so then they played last night, and now they don't play again until Thursday, and so it's weird not having something like kind of in between or so close together, when I feel like I'm used to there being multiple games a night or like a full weekend of it. So it's been weird having the breaks, and I don't know if it is helping or hurting the team.
We had at least one of those recently where we had a game on Monday, and then we didn't play again until Friday, and it was like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, Jay and I were trying to figure out, what do we talk about? Hell.
Yeah, ours was after opening night. We didn't play for 5 days, and then I think they played again, and then we didn't play for like 3 more days. And I was like, everyone had played like 5 games by then.
Then again, we're always we always end up recording on days and nights when they're playing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, shit.
Yeah, Taylor and I definitely schedule our lives around Dallas Stars hockey.
I mean, live streaming makes sense. Like, that makes way more sense to do it live than what we do. Because we're just sitting here scrolling on our phones like, oh shit, this happened.
I love the live stream. It's been blacked out again. So, so we're back to square one of this podcast.
Yeah, I definitely cannot. I don't know that Taylor and I, unless we absolutely had to, there's no way that we would be able to record a podcast, like live streaming it.
Mm-hmm.
People have asked us to do live reactions, but I don't know. We would get focused on one or the other. Like we would not be able to do both. And we're both really good at multitasking. Like our job, we have to be like on our A game as far as multitasking goes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's no way. I don't even know if we could have a Stars or like a hockey game on in the background and be able to record, because we would just, we wanted to pay attention to that.
I mean, you should have seen me with Jimmy when we did Leafs Bruins the other day. And it was, I was trying to do color, and it was really just like, we ended up, it was one of those games where like the second and third periods were kind of boring. So we ended up just actually having other kinds of discussions surrounding the game. It was kind of nice.
Right.
And we did like league news and whatever, like the Pinto story and all that fun stuff.
Well, wasn't there a game that Columbus like pretty early? Well, it's still early in the season, but I feel like it was within the first week or so of the season. Like Columbus popped off in one of their games, and I was like, "Are the Jackets good this year? Are the Blue Jackets gonna be good?" Like it was. I don't remember. It had to be one of y'all, because I remember I had it on my.
We beat the Rangers 5-3. Gave up a goal.
Maybe that's what it was, and that was because there was like multiple offsides callbacks in that game, and I was like,
that's what surprised me. It was like, what they're calling things for us, and the challenges are working.
Yeah. So, but I just remember watching that game, and I was like, Columbus is kind of popping, like just the way that they were playing. I was like, oh, okay, this season is going to be weird. I see how we're starting this.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely like kind of easing back into like, okay, there's a new coach and there's all this new everything that's just, we need to take some time to breathe and chill.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of, being in a smaller hockey market. Like you guys can relate to this, I'm sure, in a way where it's just like, okay, obviously we're all rabid fans and we get that, but we also know like, okay, take a step back. If something's new, we gotta just see how this plays out for another like month.
Yeah, I would agree. Plus, as far as like the teams go, as far as competing like in a smaller market, I think the Dallas Stars are getting more recognition this year, especially from like the people around the league with the NHL and everything like that, or just even the media. They're finally starting to recognize it, which is nice because, for years, all we've heard about, which Nashville, and when they've been crap, Nashville's been pushed down our throats. Well, then it's been Colorado. Colorado never stops getting pushed down people's throats. And then, just in the Western Division now, you've got Vegas. And Vegas is, I don't know, they're obviously pretty good because they were one of the last to remain undefeated. They've got a great record so far, and they do not look like they're going to be slowing down anytime soon.
But also the Ducks.
And then there's the Sharks.
To the Ducks. So I mean, it's going to be interesting, but still, like it's nice that the Dallas Stars are finally getting the recognition. I really wish they would play up to it, But again, the Dallas Stars are going to Dallas Stars.
And then you have the Sharks. Never mind.
Yikes. They're tanking for what? For who?
Celebrini is the topic this year.
I don't think this is tanking.
I literally tweeted was like,
they know that tanking? They play at a tank.
I literally tweeted like, do they know Connor Bedard already got drafted? Because there's no reason.
I know they're tanking like way too hard in the wrong year.
Yeah.
So bad.
So apparently, I'm just looking at the game center for this. 7:30. Okay, so I got to remember that we're a half an hour off of what we're usually used to. Last 5 games. Rope versus Boone. 3-2. And I heard Rope's been doing fine, right?
Yeah, he had like 7 points in like 3 games. Yeah.
That's pretty good, I would say.
He's the only one in the top line that's really popping off. Jason Robertson has been a ghost. He's been invisible. I don't know what that man's doing on the ice.
we're experiencing that with Gaudreau right now.
Yeah, Johnny's been really, really
I was
quiet.
Johnny Jabroni. Come
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but
No, like, he literally got benched last game. Like,
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
benched
Wow.
against the Caps for
So-
like almost the entire third.
yeah, like
And it was
it's
bad.
I feel like even last year he wasn't like, from what I saw, really up to what I was expecting him to be.
yeah.
And and some of that's padded by like the Flames, and they did have quite a few people that were really good
Yeah.
that
Part of that was
year.
Brad Larson, please. Thank you.
They had the best
So, and it's kind of expected just going from the different teams, but yeah, he's not been. I would be very disappointed if I was a Blue Jackets fan.
Yeah, it's been definitely disappointing so far.
It's hard to watch.
With some top players, like I think Zegras only has 2 points so far to start the season. Really, really
Yeah.
surprising. Especially
Alex
with how good
Ovechkin
the
only
Devils
has
played.
2 goals, guys.
Yeah.
that is
And
shocking.
then
Like, it's bad.
That is killing my narratives. Because I have just been on this podcast for the last 2 years, like he's gonna shatter the goal record. And now I am sweating my ass off.
Well, what he's got 6 more years left on his contract? Because the last contract he signed it was 8x8, right?
Yeah, and the man's 38. Like,
he's never gonna make it.
Yikes.
Scared. I'm
Yikes.
kind of scared. In terms of assists, it's still Rope for you guys with 4 in the last 5. Cole has 3 in his last 5. Silly's actually been dishing pretty well for us.
He is.
And then points, obviously Rope having 7 and Boone only having his 3 goals. So
I don't think you guys understand the depression that just hits me in the chest when I open up the app and I see points and the leader right now is Ivan Provorov.
yeah, it's bad.
Oh my god.
Goalie comparisons: Otter versus Elvis. Otter's got a 5-2-1. Elvis has a 3-3-2. 211 and a 933 versus a 320 and an 897. Okay, I can see where this is gonna go.
We'll see. I mean, is obviously gonna get the start. I mean, with the way Martin played last game, they might go to him.
Well, speaking of the backups, we got Scott Wedgwood, the big old wedgie.
Wedgie, love him.
I actually do love me some Wedgie. He's great backup. And then Spencer, Wedgwood a 2-1-0 and Spencer a 1-2-1. 336 to a 262 in terms of goals against, and a 911 to a 928 for Spence.
Yeah. Wedgie's numbers are padded because we let the Oilers have 50 shots on goal the other day. So
Another
Padded.
shot.
I see what you did there.
It took me a second.
Yeah, I did not pick up on that. I'm ashamed that I didn't
Wow,
pick
y'all
Well, I
sprang to
mean,
the hot
it's
minute
like
to
it took me until I visualized the Tate McRae new friggin' album cover. Did you see
my
this?
gosh. And aren't the goalie pads on wrong?
And the
They
goalie pads
are.
are backwards.
Everyone's been roasting her about it.
I was crying because I think it was Jay Fresh who had the tweet about like, oh, the Oilers need to sign her, and then like the next day, like I think today they put
Jack on waivers, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you had to see that coming.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they signed him. He was bad in Toronto. He just the contract didn't make any sense from the beginning.
he wasn't bad, but it was just
He
like,
was
all right.
the second half was bad.
It was, and for some reason they were like, you know what, we need to try and get over the hump. So the thing that we need to do
It's
is
Jack
sign as
fucking
many
Campbell.
Toronto Maple Leafs as we can.
Oh, well, the problem is the Oilers, like, they could be decent if they just got fucking goaltending, but they're like, Jack Campbell, he's on the market. And there wasn't a lot of goalies, so I get it, but like, let's throw $5 million at him too. Like, what?
I mean, Corpy got a 5x5 in Ottawa, and look at how that's panning out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not well. I mean, honestly, I watched it on Spit and Tickles today. You know, Whitney was talking about, he was talking about how they just need to send him down, put him on waivers, and send him down to AHL, and then call up their AHL goalie who's been on a tear. Just
Calvin
try it out.
Pickard, like, no.
That was their second round. Their Olivier, I don't remember what he said his last name was because
Rodriguez, I think.
Yes, yeah, he was talking about how he's been on tear. Don't fact like if he's been
No,
horrible,
they
I'm
called
just
up
throwing a whole
Pickard.
off.
No,
They called up
it's
Pickard
like-
today.
He
Yeah.
had a
Okay.
939, I want to say, in the A.
Yeah.
But it's a guy who's been around for a long time who has not really done much of anything.
Ever since he won a
You know,
Calder Cup with the Marlies, it's been like
Yeah. You know, the Oilers are going to oil, so I guess.
and I mean, like Connor's
You're
not
being not a good
100%,
way.
and that's not helpful either. And Leon really hasn't been up to par, and that's gonna get us into fantasy because somebody picked Leon Draisaitl first overall.
Everybody thought our boss was paying me because I got first overall and he had second overall. And I was texting Taylor about it actually, and I was like, you know what? Everybody thinks, since Connor McDavid is right there, everyone thinks that I'm going to pick Connor McDavid, and absolutely not. I will not. And look how it ended up turning out. Can we talk about that? How Draisaitl popped off and then McDavid didn't, and then McDavid got hurt. I was like, wow. It's like I knew. It's
Yeah,
like
well,
I knew.
Kyle
And
still
now they're
kicked
both
my
falling
ass in the
apart
first
because-
week, so
Sorry about that. Yeah, him and Draisaitl and McDavid you can just see it. They're just exhausted. They're tired of carrying the team on their back, and it's the whole team's like crumbling around them.
well, they just don't have anybody that's worth anything near that.
Yeah, I just think of like the Jimmy Butler picture where he's just like keeled over on the side, just completely out of that. That is literally them on a nightly basis.
Well, it's funny looking at the standings right now. Jordan is like second in her division with a 3-1-0 record.
I was 3-0, and I was hoping I was going to get that 4-0, but I don't remember who I was up against this past week. They were also 3-0, and they beat me by like 30 points at the end. I was like, oh, it was rough.
Was it the DB boys? It might be the DB boys.
Yes.
Because they're a perfect 4-0.
Yeah, because they beat me. So I am now 3-1. So
well, let's take a look at this here. So we got Wyatt. You've been collecting your boys like crazy over the last like couple of weeks, haven't you?
Me, yeah.
See, this is why I drafted my Blue Jackets. Like,
sorry.
We got Wyatt Johnston. You picked up our buddy Joey, Ryan Johansson, Leon, Tyler Bertuzzi. He's
been hit or miss. He's been like great, and then he's been I think he got me some negative points this past week, and I was like, negative? You're gonna give me negative? That's a slap on the face.
Tyler.
Because I've got, I think, Bertuzzi and Toffoli. You do.
Yes. Love me some Tyler Toffoli, but like Matt Zuccarello. I was thinking Savannah Jad.
I've got him on my other team. I've got him and Kreider on my other team.
Oh, do you? Nice.
Yeah.
Miro, who needs to be picking it up for you, like you said.
Yes.
Taylor,
he was also giving me negative. Yeah.
Miro, Justin Falk, okay. Gus Forsling, okay. Schneider's a fun mystery box. I like that pick.
Thank you.
I like that pickup. You got Tyler, because of course you had to get Tyler.
Of course.
Ryan McDonough in your utility slot, and then on the bench, Rope, Marchessault, Dadonov, Haig, and Harley. So yes, she's counting up stars.
Yeah.
Like
that was a rough draft too, because we had so many people. I think we've got 20 different teams.
20 teams.
In this draft
you
class.
Picked first. I picked 20th.
Yikes. It was rough. It was really rough.
It was really bad.
It was really bad. Of course, if you got 20th, then of course you get 2 back to back. But I had like my picks lined up, that you could like.
Yeah, that's what I had to do too.
Pre-drafted, and then just instantly hit the button. All of my guys were going, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing at this point. Actually, just
having to queue up people is hard, especially when you're either drafting first like you or last like me. It's just like
Everybody lost their minds though when I picked Draisaitl first overall.
Yeah, we did. You should have seen like we were hanging out on StreamYard, just kind of in a call, having some fun, and it was It was me, Kyle, Lance, who I'm playing this week, Zach, and Kat from Surge.
Is that recorded anywhere? Like pre-saved anywhere?
I don't think so. I don't think we recorded that. We just
Dang,
sat
I'll
in
have
the
to.
chat.
I was gonna check it out afterwards because I wanted to see everybody's reaction. Of course, I saw everybody's reaction in the chat. And then of course everybody thought that Kyle was paying me, and he was like paying me to pick him so that he could get McDavid second overall. Like
you might want to look over your goalies real quick too, girl, because like Jari and
listen, listen. It was slim pickings on goalies because I was picking like all skaters first.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody picked skaters, and then everybody immediately picked their goalies. And I was like,
a goalie for my first pick. I kind of had to.
I was like, crap. Was I supposed to pick a goalie first? Because in my other league, like everybody picked a few skaters, and then we picked goalies. So I was like, crap, I really messed up. So yes, in both of my fantasy leagues that I'm in right now, the goalies have been screwing me over. They are either hit or miss, and it hurts.
You are, if I can find you, there you are. You're playing Brewski this week, and you, like me, are crushing it after day one.
Yeah, I haven't checked it just now, but when I saw it this morning editing my lineup, I had 33 points and only had they only had 2.9. So I'm like, all right, that's
going into right now. You are up 35.1 to 6.8.
Wow.
And like I said, I'm playing Lance, the Ohio Columbuses this week.
The Columbuses.
Shout out to Lance, love you, brother. And I'm kicking his ass just as much. 49.4 to 13.9.
Wow.
That's off the back.
Here's the thing though. Here's the thing. I had like a major lead in it was either this fantasy league or my other one. And then next thing you know, the tables turned and I got my ass kicked. So you never know how it's gonna go.
I mean, yesterday for me was off the backs of Maddie Nyes, Mitchie Marner, and Brock Besser. So, because they all had double-digit days for me.
Yeah, nice.
But then last week when I was playing Chambers, I had like somewhere between an 8 and a 10-point lead on like going into Saturday. And this is another thing with the schedule. Way the league schedules things, because that was a 15-game day, remember?
Yeah, that I hate that when it's like who do I make like a wild call and bench, and who do I just hope that they do well, and then it's like, of course, every single time there's going to be someone on your bench that has double digits, so
exactly
it never fails.
No, because I was playing Ryan and I had somewhere between an 8 to 10-point lead. I had only one or two people playing the Sunday, and I lost by 30, guys.
Yeah, that's how much I lost by. I was like at 170 something, and I had 140 something. So, Jay, do you have your own team in this league, or is it kind of you two combined?
Technically, it's combined because this guy never sets us on.
I couldn't tell you who was on this team.
That's the same. I just did it for Taylor and I, but Taylor was like, I am not going to do that. I think even Taylor's boyfriend like drafted her own team, and she was like, I'm not doing that.
I had the Bob's Don't Give a Puck burger propose to me a very lopsided trade the other day.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wanted oh my gosh. So like just the other day I was having a fantasy conversation with other people, like pick up Quentin Byfield, pick up Marco Rossi. They're both, doing really well. Like they're starting to heat up, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the perks of me having both already. So I already have both of them. And this guy wanted Quentin for Colton Sissons, who he had like just picked up.
No fucking way.
Like, no, thank you. So that ain't happening, buddy.
There was somebody, it might have been the same guy. There was somebody that proposed to me a trade for Dadonov and I think it was like Jason Roberts. It was somebody else. It was one of my other like bigger names for Scott Lawton and Jack Campbell. And I was like, absolutely not. But then, Philly, he was like immediately he was popping off. One was popping off, and I was like, "Are you what?" As far as like
Right.
points goes, because shots on goal, he might not be scoring all the goals and everything, but shots on goal, and I was like, did that one blow up in my face? But now, no, I'm definitely glad that I didn't take it because Jack Campbell, absolutely not.
Byfield for Sissons, though. What is
No.
that?
One of them is scoring and one of them is not.
What is that? Like,
It's like people try to catch you slipping. Like they try to catch, like, do you really know anything about hockey, or do you just think the names sound cool?
well, because he just picked Sissons up too, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Trying to bamboozle you is what?
I do have a lot of jackets on my team though, and as like I said, I drafted them. Fantilli, Rossi, Marchenko, Matthew Nyes, Mitch Marner, Oliver Bjorkstrand, another one of my comfort picks. Mitch and Oliver, big like comfort picks for me. You ever have those? You're just like, I have to have these guys to feel good.
That's how I was with Mika Zibanejad, and I think Jamie Benn was one of them. I was like, I just have to have him.
Yeah.
Whether they do well or not. Jamie Benn, he's gonna piss me off, I'm sure, but
You don't have Ryan Suter?
Oh, fuck that guy.
Do you not remember? I'm pretty positive I said I'll pay $1 for whoever picks up Ryan Suter, and someone was like, "Ew, no." And I was like, "Oh, it was a joke. I promise it was a joke."
My defense is Darnell Nurse, Tyson Berry, Sanheim, Middleton, and Midzi popped off for me the other day. That was awesome. And then I got KJ, I got Brock Besser, which Bess. And then my bench is Jake McCabe. At least he's getting better. Severson, Byfield, Kaliev, and Trent Frederick. I just recently picked up Freddie because I was just like, I need a guy that's versatile position-wise.
Yeah.
I have too many guys that are just right wings, and I'm just like, I need more like everywhere else.
Has y'all's team, not fantasy, but has the Blue Jackets been dealing with any injuries lately? Because it seems like there are a lot of injuries across the league already, and they're racking up every single day.
Surprisingly, nothing like we had last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Line is the only major one. Really, the only time players have not seen the ice is when they've been benched.
Yeah.
It's been kind of entertaining, not gonna lie.
It's been more of an accountability thing with Pazzi than an injury bug.
It feels like a little bit of a course correction of last season when just about everybody got hurt.
And I mean, like, the only other like notable injury in our pipeline right now, besides Patrick, is Tarasov, and he's slowly starting to work his way back like towards the minors.
Okay.
From like, I think it was a knee thing with him.
He was projected to be out a long time because that was during last season. So I want to say
that was like towards the end of last year.
6-7 months.
Just brushing up the end of the fantasy talk, I guess. My goalies are Georgiev and Logan Thompson. So I got a good little. I know Georgiev's been a little slippery recently, but I got a couple of good picks with those guys.
I'll never forget when we played. Whoever we played, was it Colorado when he was with them when they were like Georgie? Do you remember Taylor? When they just kept yelling Georgie the entire time. Yeah.
Yes, he's an Av now.
Okay.
Holidays are stressful. They're chaotic. We all know this. Jay and I are both always crazy around the holidays. I have family that has birthdays on the holidays. We're all going crazy. We're all decorating like early. Some people love to decorate as early as the summer. You crazy businesses, we're all going. It's chaos. The shopping is chaos. The crowds, what do you get everybody? We're thinking about that all year round. It's always just nutty. And when do you want to, it's like, when do you want to begin? Do you begin on Black Friday? Do you start earlier? Hey, right? Why not take care of the nightmare early? A nightmare before Christmas, should I say. When you can get some of this done pre-Black Friday, why not? So Raycon, friends of ours, are helping out with a early Black Friday sale going on right now. You heard us talk about Raycon in the past, whether that's previous Black Friday sales, other holiday sales, chilling out during the summer. Raycon's got it all with the premium price points, the brilliant sound quality of the earbuds, the custom gel tips that we love, all of that. You know, we always love the E25s and everything that you've heard talked about in the past. And Raycon has a link that we'll provide where you can check out a lot of their products. They first made the name for themselves in the audio space with their E25s and other premium, nice, cheaper earbuds, but, you know, better quality than most of your more expensive earbuds. The everyday E25s, the 32-hour battery life that these things provide, long lasting, perfect in-ear fit, all that stuff that you need in everyday earbuds, whether that's going to work, whether that's going on a hike, whether that's, you know, whatever you're doing, trying to get away from stuff at home for a bit. And this past year, just like our network is expanding, with well over 100 shows now, Raycon is expanding. They have now stuff with Raycon Home and Raycon PowerTech. So they are doing a faucet filter ultra product, which, excuse me, it's a must-have for ensuring water filters, and it works brilliantly with your plumbing. They have a 5-star reviewed Magic 180 cable, allowing you to charge your electronics. And obviously they're known for their high quality and thoughtful features at half price of other premium brands. And put those on your Christmas list. Right? Good, cheaper ideas for your Christmas list. To get everyone in the holiday shopping spirit a bit early with the pre-Black Friday sale, Raycon's currently offering 20% off everything on their site with select products up to 50% off. So beat the crowds, shop early, save now. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this. Hurry now to buyraycon.com/THPN to get 20% off site-wide. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to score up to 50% off Raycon products. buyraycon.com/THPN. So what we're gonna do, just to wrap the rest of this up, because I only had 2 bigger topics that I wanted to talk about with the two of you, is really getting in depth into the Central this year, because obviously this is an Eastern show. We don't talk about the Western Conference as much.
Yeah.
And just getting into that. I know, like, Jerome and I talked about the Central when we did our preview that we wanted you two on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Central Division, it's a rough division because I feel like you never know what's going to happen, especially last year.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was talking about Colorado. We didn't think we had to worry about them, and then they came in and won the division. And of course, then our playoff run against the Minnesota Wild was nasty. It's going to be very interesting when all of their fans are back in the American Airlines Center for the first time this season. I feel like it's going to be the most toxic environment that there can be. St. Louis is St. Louis. I feel like they're just going to continue to suck for a hot minute.
Well, because they're very hit and miss. I know.
They're mid.
Yeah.
Mid.
Yeah.
They're legit mid. They're sitting fourth right now, sitting pretty right smack in the middle.
I feel like it's weird this year because it's like obviously us and the Avs at the top, and then there's like the Jets and the Wild kind of like having a mid off down there.
Yeah, there's a
having-
lot of mid in this division,
Yeah, so there's like a huge gap. At one point, it was like early in the season, but I looked and it was like the Avs, us, and then the Coyotes, and I was like, what is going on?
Well, we were just
Never
talking like
Coyotes.
we did a whole like thing with the entirety of the Western Conference because the Sharks are more
I
than
can't-
bad.
I can't
Yeah.
believe it wasn't mean enough to them. They are so much worse than I thought they'd be. And I thought
I
they were
mean,
awful.
that's sad. It's really sad. Like sad
very
for their
sad.
fans at this point.
Well, the sad part is I was talking to my boyfriend about this, is like, they have been bad, but they're also not doing things to rebuild. Like you can see the Coyotes have the talent. The Ducks are putting their talent together. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, where's your young talent? Like, where are your picks? Like, where are your trades
Yeah.
paying off? And so they're just in this weird place where they're not getting better and they're at the bottom,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
knowing that
that's the weirdest part.
knowing that Greer just talked to the players, it's like, what the hell do you have to say? Like, you're the one
Yeah.
that's in charge of this whole thing. But
Yeah.
But he did inherit a lot of those just awful contracts. Kevin
Right.
LeBlanc.
But
Yeah.
The
like
worst
you
one, Vlasic.
Well, yeah, but you trade Eric Carlson and you should demand all these picks and like a good return, and then what are you doing with it?
mhm.
Yeah.
And so, that'll take a couple years to really like show up in the lineup too, but
Yeah.
it's mind-boggling how they're not like at least have some up and coming like talent.
Well, they're not
Yeah.
trying. Like, the only one that's really trying right now is William Eklund
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
because they don't have Bordelot in the lineup. They didn't have Will Smith in the lineup at all.
I almost think they're so bad that they're at a point where they're just like, we should just keep our young players.
Protect the
far
players, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which might not be the worst strategy, to be completely honest with you, but God,
Well,
awful
let's
team.
just say exposure therapy doesn't necessarily help in the NHL.
No, we have seen that.
I just go back. Like, could you imagine being a season ticket holder for the Sharks?
Oh,
I had a
I-
bunch of times.
I don't know that I could. I'd be like, can I have my money back?
I didn't mean to make this like shit on the Sharks corner. Like, I'm sorry. Like, shit.
R.I.P. Their
Their
fans.
promotions team has to be working overtime to
Oh.
get.
Oh, their poor admin is not
Yeah.
having a good time.
Oh.
Their social media admin is not having a good time.
No.
That's
So
just-
right now, your boys are at the top, neck and neck, kind of like a point ahead of Colorado. Winnipeg's catching up, taking up the third slot with 12 points. St. Louis 11, Coyotes fifth at 11, Nashville 10, Minnesota 10, Chicago 8.
Yeah.
So
I thought
like,
Chicago was supposed to like win the cup this year with Connor Bedard. Isn't that like the whole reason why they got him first? Come on.
no,
that
that's
was
why
the
they
reason
got
that
Nick.
they got Corey Perry.
That's the reason why they got
my
Nick
God.
Foligno. Thank you very
He
much.
is my favorite. I love Corey Perry so much.
She hates
I
when I
love
slander
him.
Corey Perry at all.
I love him.
I mean, we had such a big chuckle over our buddy Nicky
Yeah.
last show because, like, God bless Nick Foligno. Honestly, like, just I love him to death, and you can't. I don't care that he went to Boston. It was just I couldn't help but still cheer for the guy when he was.
This
there.
is
I was
another
just
team
like,
that should be so
you
much worse. Like this team outside of Bedard is bad,
Yeah.
quite bad.
Lucas
Yeah.
Reichel's okay. Like, it's not like.
Okay, we've named 2 players. Like,
I feel like the
Like,
goalie
Luke
is it
North.
Mazurek? Is that how you say it? Mazurek? I feel like their goalie is like
Mrazek and
Mrazek. Yeah, he's been like hit or
Soderblom.
miss. I know when we saw, so we were in Pittsburgh for the opening day for the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Chicago, and he was phenomenal. We were like, for what?
Yeah.
What is this?
He was
Yeah.
so good, a couple years ago for Carolina, and then he just fell off.
Yeah.
His
I mean-
career numbers are very funny when you look at him. Like, so you mentioned Carolina, he had a 923 there, and then the next season he goes to Toronto and has an 888.
Yeah,
Well,
he
next
just
year at
was
Chicago.
insane.
The problem with when he
Yeah.
was with Toronto is exactly the problem that he still has now.
He doesn't know where his net is.
He doesn't know where his crease is, where his posts are, anything.
He loses his crease more than any goalie I've ever seen. But when he has his crease, he's got the flexibility, the reaction time to be able to make the saves. But you just get him moving. So last year 894, and this year a 923 to start the season. It's just
I think, and this
Weird.
isn't, this might just be me chirping my Leafs friends. I think when he went out, on his little journey that led to the David Ayers experiment, I think that had some lasting effects on how he plays. Because that dude loves taking journeys outside of his crease.
God, that was him. That was
You know who else loves taking journeys outside of their crease? Scott Wedgwood.
Yeah, he does.
It cracks me off the wall every time.
Gosh, when he did that like routinely in Arizona, and it was just like, oh, buddy.
It's rough. I'm haunted by the shootout that we had against the New York Rangers, and he just stood there frozen. I was like, he's standing there like a gingerbread man, like the cutouts of like a gingerbread man, or like the cutouts of like in the hockey goalie game when they're like, got one arm down, and it's like you're just moving them back and forth. Like that was Scott Wedgwood that night, and I have trust issues with him. I love him, but I have trust issues.
That's Jay with Elvis anymore. Like you can't help but love the person, but then you watch him on the ice and you're like, do something.
Sir, do you know how to goalie?
You're poking him with the stick, right? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, Dallas, y'all are just sitting pretty for a hot minute, even though Colorado's nipping at your heels. Jerome actually has them winning the division. Because I remember when we were doing the preview, it was just me and Jerome, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to take Dallas for this one. I was like, all right.
We'll see.
I
feel like there's a lot of expectations this year, and we haven't really put anything together, but we're still winning games. So that's the fortunate part.
Duchesne after he got bought out.
Yeah.
Well, he took so much less money to come to Dallas for the chance, and I feel like he's been a pretty instant fan favorite, even though we all hated him because he scored I think it was his second most, 18 goals on us in Nashville. Like he just ate our lunch every time, and now he's finally doing well, and he put that third line together that we had trouble finding a fit for. We had Max Domi at the trade deadline last year that didn't really fit. He helped, but he wasn't really putting it together the way Duchesne has been able to make Tyler Seguin and Mason Marchment gel into one line. So he's been nice for us.
Jamie's still able to, stay put on that second line. It's pretty nice to see for a player his age to stay in those top 6 minutes. And Joe too, hell, for Joe Pavelski, he was almost 40.
Yeah.
To put up the kind of first line talent that he still can have. And that's, Jay and I talk about this with Joe a lot, is because of how technical his skill set is. He's never been the fastest guy. He's never had the hardest shot. It's always very detailed.
He's just good at everything. So balanced as a player. The Stars top line, according to moneypuck.com, 14th ranked line currently in the National Hockey League. 64.6% expected goals when they're on the ice. Mason Marchment, Tyler Seguin, Matt Duchesne. I do like that line a lot so far.
Yeah.
That's got a lot of bite to it with Marchie in there. That's really fun.
Yeah. He's hit or miss. He's yesterday we score. He takes that stupid fucking penalty with 10 minutes left. And then he kind of kills the momentum. So everyone's pissed at him, but he finally found his groove. So he's very polarizing for a lot of our fans.
He's just so like she said, it's hit or miss, but he's so undisciplined in a lot of the ways that he plays hockey. And if he could just reel it in just a little bit, because when he scores, it's amazing. Everybody's like, oh, I saw a bunch of people when he finally scored. They're like, oh my gosh, is Mason Marchment? Is he nasty? And it's this is the player that Taylor and I had our eyes on when he was playing for the Florida Panthers. We loved him. We knew that he was kind of crazy. He was going to draw penalties. He was going to be pesky with the puck. He was going to be pesky when it came to just trying to instigate a little bit of the fights to get the opposing team riled up. So I was definitely excited when Mason came to our team.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just like, okay, I want you to still have that. I want you to hold on to that, but I also need you to reel it in a bit and be more disciplined because that was a dumb penalty the last 10 minutes. Like completely, it was like the air was just like sucked out of the room. Immediately
And
fans started leaving.
He didn't play again. They didn't let him play for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's having that bite's obviously great, but he's one of those players who's too talented to be doing that.
yeah.
Well, to do that too often.
From being the kind of bottom six, physical player all the way back when he was with the Toronto organization, and then working his way through. And now I'd say he's a fair middle six guy.
Mm-hmm.
He realistically can probably give you 20 goals if he's not missing any action. But even with the drought that he had last year, just the goals.
Well, and I even looked it up because last year he took a lot of penalties and people were mad, but he also drew a lot of penalties. And I actually looked at the numbers, and he drew almost as many as he took, but we were scoring on the ones he drew and we weren't getting scored on the ones he took.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, he is taking a lot of penalties, but our penalty kill was so good that it just kind of washed outside of the fact that you're not playing offense, right? When you're on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
So I had made a tweet and he was like still a net positive because of all the goals we had scored on the power play. But this year, they're just so dumb and very undisciplined. And now that line is getting together, it's like, okay, we need you to play offense, not take penalties when you're on the ice, because right now that line is most of our offense, so you can't be doing that when you're
individual penalty differentials, right? And seeing how an individual does when they're out of the box versus when they're in the box, and how everybody else does. And you're like, okay, so are they the problem? Or are they what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because it's always hockey fans, especially at this point of the year, we're always looking for that one player that's a scapegoat. Or just why everything is so bad, regardless of where we're at. Like, I'm sure there's Vegas fans and Boston fans that are like, yeah, but there's this one guy that we really can't stand right now, even though we're winning everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every team's got that guy. But the stats that I brought up, they ranked 14th out of lines that had at least 30 minutes together. If you do at least 65 minutes together, they're second. They played a total of 69 minutes together. Nice. And I didn't just bring that up so I could say that they played 69 minutes together.
Sure you did.
No.
I definitely would have.
That is absolutely the only reason, Jay. I know you.
It's impressive that when you take a good chunk of the lines that have actually played significant minutes together, that's top two.
Yeah.
That's a line that's got a lot of pieces to it that complement each other like very well.
Yeah.
I do think it's very interesting. So Dallas, we didn't find that much to say about Dallas just on our own, because it was like, we already know they're good. Like, we already know who is going to pop off, who's probably going to struggle, who we like that's a little bit on the quieter side, like a Foxa, in terms of how, because with defensemen, it's obviously like you have your offensive guys like your Miros and your Suitors and all of that. And then you have your guys like your Lindell and your Fox. And I love me some Essa Lindell. Oh my God.
Yep.
He is
You want him?
sometimes he's like the scapegoat for our fans because he used to be so good, and then they paired him with Yanni Hakanpää, and they're both like slow, not puck moving defensemen, and they did well up until the end, and then about a month before the playoffs started, they just started getting their shit pushed in, and it was like every time they were on the ice together, they were getting scored on. So this year we have them broke up. I think they're doing a little bit better. My only like huge complaint about Essa is he cannot clear the puck on the PK.
No.
And I like Harley. Like, he's a good young dude. Like,
Harley saved our season last season. Our defense was trash, and he played all season in the AHL. They called him up, and he's the only reason why we were able to go so deep in the playoffs, I think, because who we had was not working.
Well, it's funny because I've always kept an eye on Yanni as well. Like, Not only does he have like one of the best names to say in the whole league, like, oh my God, Yanni Hockenpah,
Like
just
my
say
nickname
that.
for him. You like my nickname for him. Yanni
What is it?
Say it.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Good.
Did you hear it?
No, do it again.
No.
Yes.
Yanni cock and balls.
That's funny. Anytime he makes like a big hit, I just say Yanni Hawk and pow.
Fucking pow!
But
I
that's
love
like,
it.
but that's like few and far between now. Like I've seen him get lit up by guys half the size of him. So I don't know that guy sometimes.
Then he gets Yanni Rockenpaw.
Yanni Rockton. That's funny.
I'm glad you enjoy my jokes because this guy just like he can't stand when I make something stupid like that.
How dare laugh at the man.
Somebody finds me funny tonight. Damn. I'll take it. Happy late birthday to me, I guess.
Hey, I gave you a birthday post and everything.
Yes, you did. And I appreciate that.
So kind of me.
Did he have to remind you to make the post?
No. Yeah. He didn't remind me on the day. He reminded me a couple days before. He was like, yeah, it'd be sick if you did that for me. And I was like, sure, I'll do that.
Maybe I won't do it. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, yay.
That's just the kind of guy I am, you know?
Yeah, after he takes 5 days after I remind him that we're doing a show this week to be like, okay.
Oh, what's up?
This is where the dads are fighting.
Instead of the girls are fighting. Yeah, so like I don't know. I hope that Otter is able to continue this like trajectory towards getting a Vesna, even though that's very hard with Vasi and Shesty.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Also, that's old news.
just with Vasi being
Done
out.
so.
He's gonna probably. They're saying he's probably gonna be back around Thanksgiving. So
He's
a little
always
bit
been-
earlier than.
I'm gonna say he's not gonna come back the same. I predict it to be, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I predict it to be like a Ben Bishop thing, where Ben
Mhm.
Bishop was out, he came back for a hot second, and then was trash and never came back. I just have a feeling it's going to be one of those things because, especially if it's a serious injury and a big surgery, it's really hard to come back from something like that. And
Plus, they're
especially
both
with
really big
how
guys.
much goalies have to move around, that's a lot of wear and tear on their body. And he is a huge guy. Tampa fans do not need to expect him to come back better than ever because it's probably going to be one of those things where he's going to have to change the way he plays his game. And if he's able to play, it's not going to be the same. And I don't predict him to hardly come back at all.
Not to mention how much hockey that guy has played over the last 4 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With how deep they've gone into the playoffs and the fact that they haven't really truly addressed the backup situation because
Mhm.
he's been able to start, at least 60, 65 games a year.
Yeah.
It's a lot that they have put on his shoulders.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll finally get to see Otter take a part of that mantle, right? Like,
I mean, Otter's going to have a long career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, I think right now, this year, they're really focusing on load management because last year he played too many games and you could really tell during the playoffs he was not himself. So this year they're focusing on that. He said that he had like a minor surgery over the offseason,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah, he
stayed
had a
off the
small-
ice. He rested a lot. So I think they're really going to focus on that. So we're going to be asking Wedgwood to come up big in some, big games for us. So
it's very difficult just looking at the standings as they are right now because we are still very early. And looking at how it is right now, other than maybe Minnesota getting their shit together.
Talk about we bring up goaltending.
Yikes.
Like that is the only change that I can really see over the course of the rest of this year is Minnesota picking it up and maybe probably St. Louis dropping off.
St. Louis off, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Jets will stay right there. They usually do, but Rick Bonus hockey never wins. So
I was gonna say you should know, yeah.
I do. I hate Rick Bonus, hated his style, did not like him when he was here. So
I hope his
The
wife's doing
Jets can
okay.
get fucked.
I will say that.
Yeah.
I hope his wife's
Yeah,
doing
I
okay.
hope his wife is okay.
Because
I hate the Jets
mean,
can get fucked.
this is a little more of like a personal thing, but I do have seizures myself, and they're not fun. They're very
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so it's
I
like
hope
for Rick Bonus as a person, we wish him well. We hope everything well. But Rick Bonus as a coach, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yes.
well, because that was some pretty rough terms that he left you guys with, right? Like,
Well, it was the whole time he was there, his style didn't fit our players, and then he blamed the players. It was always like they, it's never we. And then when they win, it was we. And he just like tried to force people to be like in roles that they're not, because he's all about defense first and like hard, heavy game. And you've got people like Dennis Gurianov who just plays the fast offensive game, who had no defense to his game, and he was like trying to shove them into molds that they were not made for.
that was definitely how we felt when Torts was first here, when Patrick first came over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say, like, as far as Rick Bonus and his tenure with the Stars, that part of the reason they got to that final is because of COVID?
Yeah, well, and he used Jim Montgomery's play style. He admits he didn't change it. The better representation of his game was a shortened season after that, and then the next season, which we did make it to the playoffs that year and we lost to the Flames. But yeah, his style was not made for us, and I don't think he handled it well. Then you had the game where he told Riley Tufte he was going to play. Riley Tufte had to borrow money to pay for all of his family to be there, and then he scratched him, and we ended up losing like 7-0 or something. And yeah, he's just not it. But everyone claims that the players really respected him and really liked him. But from the outside, I wasn't a fan.
When do you guys play Colorado next?
The 18th of this month.
Yep.
Love that you just knew that.
Got it marked on a
that
calendar.
was very cool. Like, just like,
not tell you play next.
Yeah.
I can tell you who we play you next, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I look at the schedule quite a bit, so.
Yeah, I do too. Though I couldn't tell you who we play immediately after you guys. I know we play the Rangers on the 12th.
Detroit. We played.
There you go, a little tandem there. That's nice.
Definitely didn't look that up.
Well, I just remember I'm going to see them play Pittsburgh for my birthday present. So
nice.
Yeah, that'll be fun. But my question, the reason why I asked was, and this is nothing like obviously against you two or your team, because we do enjoy players on your team. I hope Riley personally kicks your guys' ass.
Yeah. He can get revenge. That'll be fine. I liked him. I go down to watch our AHL team occasionally, and he plays really good there. And he's been doing well for them down there. He's this weird thing where he plays so good in the AHL, and then he just can't translate it in the NHL. They've tried multiple times, but I do like him. His wife is really nice. His kids are cute. We were all pissed. I was leading the hate group on Twitter for like months, and I screamed the loudest about that. So my Twitter handle was like Fire Rick Bonus for a very long time. So
yeah.
Love that.
Love it.
Oh, you'd have loved Brad Larson.
Oh, girls, you have no idea. We have some hella horror stories about Brad. Woo!
Literal nightmare fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just inmates running the asylum levels of nightmare fuel. It was really bad.
Thanks.
It was
his shitty goatee.
And his weird like wrinkles in his head. Like he was a very strange man. I don't know. He was like, I'm sure he's like the nicest guy in the world. I don't know. I'm not trying to justify.
Just like he's a strange man.
What do you have against strange men? I'm just kidding.
Nothing. I am one. Hell. I'm also very honest.
So a lot of people don't like Taylor and I because we are very honest about this team, whether it's good, bad, win or loss. And some people don't like that. They want us to root for this team no matter how good or bad they're doing. We need to root for every single player Can't just hate on one individual player. So yeah, a lot of people are with Taylor and I, a lot of people are against us.
The amount of
I'm
times
with
we call out Columbus Twitter on this show, like,
Yeah.
whoa.
I did it on the
You have
account. But like, I'm with you 100%. And here's the other thing that I think people need to consider. Hating is fun.
Yeah. It
It's
is.
very fun.
There is times where it's very fun to just be a hater for the sake
Yeah.
of being a hater.
Well,
like-
and we made like hating Ryan Suter kind of a bit on Twitter.
Ryan Twitter!
And people are like, well, he's not even that bad. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm funny as fuck. So just leave me alone.
Exactly.
And this has
Are
been
we
going
gonna
on for
call the
season.
name of the
first
episode?
season
Our
we were
podcast
calling him
Keep me
out.
up, my hatred does.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's even gotten to the point to where now journalists, like major journalists for the Dallas Stars, will be like, "There's a couple of people on Twitter that want to talk trash about Ryan Suter. Like, well, call us out without even calling us out." And we're like,
Put my Twitter handle in there, you
"Yeah,
ass.
just say it." I know I've got you blocked, or I've got you muted, blocked, whatever I have, but like, bro, just
Oh.
say our names on the radio or whatever you're gonna say. It, just say it.
Yeah, give us the free clicks.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
exactly.
Say it.
Give us the exposure. Do
Or
it.
someone was like, y'all lead it and y'all are influencers and people just say what you guys say. And I'm like, oh my God, you think I'm an influencer?
We're just two idiots with a podcast like hell.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
don't
they
have.
two half brains trying to make a hole.
They gave me the internet and I started using it and now they don't like it. So
No.
What would you say
Turns
if
out
like
internet's free.
half brain?
a half brain.
That
Yeah,
must be
two half
cool.
brains trying to make a hole.
Yeah.
Well, when she has the brain cell, it's not a good day for me. So
Gee, thanks.
Typically him who has the brain cell.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really only having the brain cell when it comes to J Fresh cards.
Yeah.
That's really the only time he ever actually has the brain cell. Because he's
Yeah,
always like,
I take the-
what are we talking about today? I'm like, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Ask me, it'll be like, did you see this? And I'm like, no, I just got here.
And he's like, but I did see this, and he shows me like Pius Suter's
They're the
freaking
most
analytics
pointless
card.
you've seen in your entire life. Can't believe we're not more popular.
Same. Well,
Honestly,
we became
though.
popular. Our podcast like took a hit during the Minnesota series last year. That was nasty. So our podcast took a hit as far as like our ratings and reviews. We were like up there, like I would say probably like a 4 on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We were like a 4.8 and a 4.7 on both. Now we are a 4.4 and a 4.0. It was lower than that until I posted something on Twitter because they found our podcast and were just leaving the nastiest reviews, 1 stars. Like it was insane. So yeah, it's like, come on, we need a comeback.
Well, our
Yeah.
our biggest watched full episode is the one after Vegas won the cup.
Is it really?
And that
Wow.
that only has a little over 100 views
Damn.
for a full episode.
Numbers. Viral.
Stonks.
Pop off, why don't you?
Excuse me while I pop off.
Yeah, like I mean, we're trying. Hell, we've been doing this is our 3rd year doing this now. So
Yeah, just I feel like it's all about the consistency and who you bring on and like the different connections that you make, because I've seen podcasts where they struggle for a while and then next thing you know, like they're one of the most like top rated podcasts on Spotify.
Right.
So
well, I remember like because we try to get actual credentialed names here and there. We've had like Mike Todd, who's our arena host. We had Jeff Svoboda, who's our NHL writer. Like we've had those guys on before and they were fantastic. Like
yeah.
Mike is the funniest dude. We had to do an interview when we did he was on his phone like you two are. Not to get too behind the scenes with this, but he was actually on his way to his day job. And that was very funny to like just do it with him in his car.
That's funny. Also unsafe. Like, sir, you don't have time to pull over at a different time?
No, like we did it and it was fun. And he almost dropped his phone at one point. That was kind of funny.
Wow.
Like I just remember the camera moving and he was very like, okay. So yeah, really when it comes to your guys' division, even at this early, it's kind of like, what do we even talk about? There's no real storylines really yet. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it'll just be like us and Colorado neck to neck.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us, if we want first place or to win the division, like every game counts. So dropping the ball to like the Bruins or even Vancouver, really, you know, we got to win
Vancouver's
those.
been playing really, really well.
Right. So our losses are only to like good teams. Like we've only lost to Vegas, Vancouver, the Bruins, and I'm missing one, I think. But yeah, we've only lost to good teams, which is good. But every point counts if we're trying to stay at the top and, you know,
Yeah. At
for
the same
playoff
time, for this team,
matchups.
while it does suck that we have only lost to the good teams, at the same time, if you want to be great, you have to beat the good teams. So the Dallas Stars have to figure out how to beat those good teams and come out on top no matter what. And Dallas Stars, their biggest issue right now is the first period, they can never seem to figure it out. Like they just don't come out hot. It's like they figure it out in the middle of the second and then maybe pop off in the third. But like them having strong first periods has been rough.
Tell us
The
about
only
it. Tell us about it.
Listen, the only team who has scored less than us in the first period is the Sharks.
I mean,
in case you were wondering.
I mean, does that not? Can you give them a mulligan for that because it's that bad? Like,
we've only scored 5 goals in the first period, and they've scored 4. So
I don't know why.
That's actually really shocking that they've actually scored 4.
Who scored less is the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
This has been really fun. I do have one more thing that I want to because, like, obviously we've had a blast with the two of you here, and you're very, very knowledgeable about your team, about your division, and this is what we need more of: is women in hockey, women in sports. Like, we don't. Maybe it's just because I'm so terminally online that I do see it more. But we need more like you guys. We need more like Rachel Dory and the ESPN staff that actually gets on air. And
yeah,
we need more women involved in the organizations themselves. And like, I don't know what. Obviously, we're men. I don't know what we can do to do that. Like.
Support the women that are in sports. That's the biggest thing. And that was one of the reasons why Taylor and I started this podcast is, you know, we are 2 girls, obviously, but you don't see a lot of hockey podcasts that are females. You know, there are some that it's mainly males, and then there's a couple of female hosts on here and there. And even with like a lot of sports broadcasts, you know, it's all male panel and 1 female, you know? So it's one of those things that we're just 2 girls. We just want to chat about hockey. And we also want other females to be comfortable with talking about sports. Because while we do joke around and we will sit there and be like, damn, that man looks good on the ice. Who cares, you know? And we get, you know, crap for sexualizing players, and you shouldn't do that. It's the same thing for like, what's the difference between the Dallas Stars fans sexualizing the ice girls that go on there, you know? So you're just appreciating the art that is on the ice, no matter if it's about their looks and style of play. You're appreciating it. And we wanted to give a space to where females can join us and talk about hockey. They can join us either at the games or online, and just because there are a ton of Dallas Stars Twitter fans that are females. And some of their accounts, you know, they're kind of silly, but it's one of those things where we wanted to help kind of lead the way as far as the Dallas Stars fans go, for females to be like, hey, this is a space where you can talk about hockey. You've always been okay to talk about hockey, but we just want you to see like it's this easy. Like you just have to do it.
Part of the issue is like, and not to like blame men, but there's always this idea of like you have to know everything. You can't just like let women like enjoy just the surface level of hockey.
Being
like they
casual,
just like right. And so there's like you can't just like only know a little, you've got to know a lot. And then like I have a bigger Twitter account, right? Like I have a lot of followers, so I my stuff gets a lot of reach.
Okay,
So
go ahead and plug. Why don't you? Yeah, save that
no,
for
No
the
I
end.
just like I get a lot of hate, and so I've had to like people like prove myself. I write articles. We have a podcast. Like I know what I'm talking about. It's still like never enough, you know.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the like struggles, and then it's almost like, well, why it's not even worth saying anything because you're just always gonna get so much hate. And thankfully, like our personalities are ones that can handle it, right? Like I don't care, and I love stirring the pot, and I will post whatever I want. But there's some girls who just want to be fans without getting called out, and so it's just not really like a safe environment for any level of like fandom unless you have a certain personality.
It drives
And
me up a
even
wall. Sorry,
yeah,
Jordan.
and
Go
even
ahead.
when Taylor and I know it's okay. I was just gonna add to that when Taylor and I were first like popping off before we even started our podcast, or even like the beginning ages of the podcast, and we were both just getting popular on Dallas Stars Twitter. We were getting harassed. We were getting like people were finding out our information. Like it was almost uncomfortable for us to go to Stars games for a while because there were people that would like take pictures of us and then like send it to us and be like, "Oh, it's nice to see y'all here," and we wouldn't know anything about it, which that's gonna happen, but at the same time, it was just like, okay, we have to know, like, no matter what, if we are growing this podcast, it's going to happen. Like the amount of hate that, like, huge name, like Paul Bissonnette, like just to name some bigger hockey names, or even just social media in general is nasty. You just have to learn, like, you can either dish it and take it, or you can let it crumble you. Last year again with the whole, like with our podcast kind of taking a hit, that did upset me, just because it was like, this is something that Taylor and I are working really hard on. And I know, like, the name of the game, like, chirping's gonna happen, shit talking's gonna happen, but there were some awful things said to Taylor and I, and awful things said about this podcast that we're growing. So it's kind of like, are you doing it because, you know, you hate our sports team, or because also we're two girls like trying to have a podcast? Because there's even like times where people will say like anonymous things to Taylor and I, or they'll like, I'll post an anonymous thing and people will be like, you know, telling me like, why are you even talking on this podcast when Taylor knows everything? Like, Taylor brings the stats, you're just a shit talker, like you're just like the filler. And so it's like, okay, you just have to like let it roll, because I know that I'm more of like the person that watches the game. I'm very much like eyesight. I judge players on how they play. Taylor is the analytics. She loves the stats. She loves all of that. Plus she needs it. Yeah. So that's where she also
I was gonna
has
say,
that
like, I think we found a
for
match made in
writing.
heaven right
I'm
here.
very much eyesight. I don't give a shit about stats. Stats are cool. They're needed for everything. But even Wayne Gretzky was like, yeah, I don't like, stats are stupid. So
I'm way more of the counting stats guy, while Jay's over here on his J Fresh cards. Like,
yeah.
did you see this projected war over here?
She'll send me, she'll talk about it, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's okay. As long as it means like good things for us, okay, cool.
Yeah, look at this. Look at what you got expected over here.
At 5-on-5, like
Yeah, but that's where we have that good balance. And again, we have had even females reach out to us where they're like, thank you so much, or come up to us at games where they're like, thank you so much for making us feel like we can be comfortable in talking about sports, posting about sports, listening to it. Like we have grown our female audience where they get more intrigued about the way, you know, scratching that surface level, like being more of a casual fan, but feeling okay that they can help grow the game and help grow their knowledge and stuff like that. I think Taylor and I even talked about like a huge female meetup at this, you know.
Yeah. Or I know I get messages that they'll ask me questions so they don't feel dumb, like asking guys, or, you know, they'll be like, what is, you know, like literally as simple as like, what is icing? Because you don't want to get mansplained, or you don't want to, you know, like feel dumb or post something on the internet. And so I answer a lot of basic questions about like why can't they do this, or like contracts, or, you know, sending people down
for
and so it's nice to be able to do that. Unfortunately, I get a lot of messages, so I don't answer them all immediately, but I try to you know, help people out so that they're learning in like a way that they feel comfortable.
Well, because we have a lot of, you know, in our fan base, a lot of our best friends that are really tight knit within the community and our season ticket holders. Ellie, Danny, who's like doing photography for the team now. Laura, who's part of Subjectively Speaking with Jeremy. Remember when they were on the network with us? Like,
Tina's now doing like the coverage for the Monsters, started up that American Hockey League site. It was really cool. I did a paper, I'm gonna say like my sophomore year in college, where I had like a probably well over an hour phone interview with Allison Lucan, who now works for the Kraken. She used to do the podcast with Shayna and Sarah Sivian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Really cool person. Like, just yeah.
But this is my point, right? Like with having the friends that we have, like women are knowledgeable about these things and they want to be invested in these things just as much as men are. Like, just let them enjoy the fandom that they enjoy, other than like, let's not shove them all as puck bunnies. Hell, like,
Yeah.
Let them cook.
If they are, who cares? Like, it doesn't, what does it affect you if they just want to watch them because they're hot? Like, I don't.
Yeah. Who's that?
Who
It's still
cares?
growing the game. It's still butts and seats, So
if you're a dude and you don't feel a little bit of something down there looking at Tyler Seguin, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Or when a goal gets scored or a big hit, like hockey horny is a thing for a reason.
Exactly.
We have shirts that say that, by the way.
Yeah, we made merch with Bring Hockey Back that said Hockey Horny. And shockingly enough, there were a lot of females that would not let their boyfriends or husbands wear that shirt. So we were like, oh, man, come on, just let them live a little.
we do need to get it on that merch front at some point when we grow a little bit more than 55 subs.
Just got to do it. It'll help. But yeah, and then it also helps that Taylor and I, besides hockey, we are just giant sports fans in general. We both love football. Taylor's a major baseball fan. She grew up playing softball. So that's diehard Texas Rangers fan she is. I'm, more of the, I love baseball, but again, like I'm just a fan. I'm not I can't sit there and talk about it the way that she can. Or, we both grew up loving football. I grew up also loving supercross and motocross. So just all around, just big sports fans. And I think it's just the biggest thing I would say for men when it comes to women in sports is just support them. And don't go after them with a nasty comment. If you have a different sports take than they do, you don't have to immediately go like, oh, you're fat or you're ugly or you don't know anything, you're stupid. Like that's another thing. Just be able to have an adult conversation about sports without getting nasty and personal.
Don't pull out your, what's his name? Tungsten Arm O'Doyle fact, like first thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you like sports? What's the grandfather's uncle's cousin's former roommate of...
or oh, you don't know the Dallas Stars? Name 3 players that were on the 99 Cup team.
We lost Taylor's image.
Yeah, she texted me saying that her phone was gonna die. I was about to tell her, just like, say it out loud. So if she's not there, it's probably because her phone died.
Okay, well, in that case, we do have Taylor. We have a name still hanging out with us for a minute. So this has been a lot of fun for both of us. Hopefully, both of you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we like to do this at the end of every show, or at the very least when we're like around. How do you do it? And plug away, and let's get out of here.
Okay, so you can follow. I'll just talk about Taylor first. I know that she's a writer for Dover Prospects. Her handle on Twitter is at Dallas Stars Tay. Mine on Twitter is at TEEJAAMC. You can also find us at two girls, one scup, I think.
Scup, I like that.
Yeah, it's 2 girls, one scup on our Twitter and Instagram. We're hoping to blow up with a lot of content and then soon to be on TikTok, hopefully doing some fan interactions this season as well.
I might actually have to start looking at TikTok more.
This is the podcast where I start to follow the people that we have on. And I look, let me find the account. I look up 2 girls and like I found your account, but all the things below it.
That's why we have to specify it's 2, like it's the number 2, and then
Yeah.
girls, and the number 1,
And the
then
number 1
Scup,
and Scup.
SCUP.
Like,
Yeah. That's why we call our fans the Scuppers or the mother Scuppers. So
oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's so good. And I mean, like, so all pod platforms to listen to.
yeah, you can find us mostly. I think a lot of people have actually started finding us more on like the Google platforms for the podcast, but Apple Podcasts and Spotify are our 2 main listening points.
Are you guys doing a YouTube in any time soon? Because like YouTube's our bread and
Hopefully,
butter. Like,
yeah. So so how Taylor and I, just really quickly, how Taylor and I actually got started on this podcast, we were actually recording in my 1-bedroom apartment in my closet. Like we would say coming to you live from the closet, and then if it was always like a joke, like we have to come out of the closet together. But we were like recording on my closet floor, just one Yeti microphone. So now that I'm in a house, I finally have our podcast room set up, like our sports room. That's where I'm in right now. So we've got like an 80-inch projector screen where we'll play the games. Finally have some chairs. We'll get in the ring lights, eventually the cameras and stuff like that. So that is the end goal. It's just kind of like financially, you got the holidays and stuff coming up. But yeah, so it's all the big plans that will eventually come together. But yeah, it's coming. It's going to happen. So for now, we are audio only. Eventually, we will be YouTube. We'll do some live events. Again, we'll do some cool things on TikTok. We hope to do some more merch so that way we can have some more giveaways and stuff like that. If you follow Taylor and I, especially either on our individual accounts or on the Twitter for the 2 Girls 1 Stanley Cup Twitter page, we do have season ticket holders for the Dallas Stars that will reach out to us and have extra tickets. We do like to give those away to our followers, so be on the lookout for that as well.
Look at y'all. You got it like all together.
I'm trying. This is like my passion projects. Once we started this thing, it's definitely opened up a lot of my creative, resources and stuff like that. So now it's just trying to figure out how to do it because I've never done anything like this before.
No, please help me. Like I need help with doing more of that stuff.
Yeah, we're just having fun with it. It's if you are one of our listeners, you know that our audio issues for the podcast have been a huge thing. So I've been working out the kinks with that. So we've had a lot of very, very patient followers, and I appreciate every single one of them.
We appreciate our small bit of following as well. So, go check them out, and hopefully some of yours comes to check us out. Like,
yeah, we'll definitely bump you guys on our Twitter page.
Give us some growth and give us a little bit more to look forward to as we continue our 3rd season doing this. Our first full season with THPN. Obviously, go follow Jordan, go follow Taylor. You can follow my page, Snake Geringer. You can follow Jay's page, by Jay Ashdown. Follow our pod page, obviously, JJ Jackets Pod. Subscribe to the YouTube. Go check out 2 Girls 1 Stanley Cup. Excuse me. Oh my God.
1 Stanley Cup. Don't YouTube 2 Girls 1 Cup.
Don't YouTube 2 Girls 1 Cup.
Do it.
That is the trauma.
2 Girls 1 Stanley Cup. Thank
One
you,
Stanley
Jordan.
Cup, yes.
And I will, from the grave, thank you, Taylor. I'll tweet at her too.
No, just to people, because I have never mentioned it. I have gone private on my Twitter because I just prefer it that way. So if you want to follow me at by J Ashdown, you will have to request me, and we'll probably
popular. No, we appreciate it, guys. We really love when we have our fellow THPN family guys ask us to be on the podcast. We love these little mix up and stuff like that, especially if it's before or immediately after our teams play against each other. So we're really excited to be on with you guys.
Thank you so much. We've been waiting for this for ever for the last couple of weeks, and we're happy that we were finally able to do this.
Well, thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you, and we will see all you 5th liners next time. Come see me on the 14th.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for 5th liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Geringer, GARRINGER, and at by Jay Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.